In this video, I'll be showing you how Spanish vowel sounds work, and I'll give you a few tips to improve your own pronunciation. So before we begin, I'd like to give you a couple of general tips that will help you improve your pronunciation significantly. First of all, in terms of Spanish vowels, we have to remember that there is only one sound per vowel. So we have these 5 vowels, a, e, o, u. Each of those letters will always represent that same sound, a, e, o, u. We have to be careful with this because in English we have over 20 vowel sounds to choose from. So we have to really be careful when we're using cognates or particularly long words in Spanish, so that we're not putting in possible English vowel sounds. Just focus on, in Spanish, we only have these 5. Another important tip is keep it short and sweet. Sometimes in English we hold our vowel sounds for longer, but in Spanish they are very short vowel sounds. If you hold them too long, it's going to give you more of an accent in your Spanish. For example, if we have the sentence, es fácil aprender a hablar español, by keeping those vowel sounds short, you're able to keep a more natural rhythm in your Spanish, versus maybe a beginner who's learning Spanish would say something like, es fácil aprender a hablar español. Those kinds of pauses on your vowel sounds, holding them longer, is going to make you sound like you have more of an accent. Okay, so let's start with our first vowel, which is a. When you're pronouncing the letter a in Spanish, just think that you're at the dentist, open your mouth nice and wide, and it's always that soft a sound. Let's practice with a few short words. Please repeat after me. Tapa, llama, pata, cara, saca, papa, sana, mapa, alpaca, ala, daba, acá, ama. Now let's try with a few bigger words. These are words that tend to be difficult for students. Trabajábamos, hola, actividad, actuar, acento, ortografía. Our next vowel sound is a. Just think of like hey, right? We have that same a sound in English. Your mouth should be nice and open. Make sure that you're keeping it as an a instead of eh. That's important. Let's practice with a few short words. Pepe, nene, sede, deme, ese, este, tele, espe, meme, debe, es, dele. Now let's practice with a few longer words. Elegante, elaboración, es, era, estoy. Elemento, elefante, españoles. Our next vowel is E. Again, we're going to keep it short and high in our mouth. Think you're pushing up the back or the roof of your mouth. E, ini, pini, rini, nini, inti, ipi, ili, pipi. Now let's try with some longer words. Inteligente, idea, ideal, interesante, ilegal, hilo dental. Okay. This is a particularly difficult vowel sound because in English we would say interesting, intelligent, right? So always focus on a nice high inteligente, interesante, especially at the beginnings of your words. Now let's practice with O. Topo, sopo, mono, homo, popo, polo, oso, moto, poco. Make sure that when you're saying an O sound in Spanish that your mouth is nice and round. It's always that hard O sound. Let's try with some longer words. Ortodoncista, odio, ovalado, orgulloso, optimismo, organizado. And our last vowel sound, U. You can think of a cow, how that same sound is moo, just don't hold your oo sound for very long. Let's practice pupu, supu, nunu, umu, utu, uru, sumu, pupu, mumu, tutu, kupu, ubu, ulu, ruku. Let's try with some longer words. Universidad, unanimidad, últimamente, universal, uniforme, único. Please remember also that when you have you at the beginning of a word, it's never going to sound like universidad. Don't put a Y sound at the beginning of that word. It's going to start with just the U sound. Universidad, universal, etc. Be careful with that. That's a place where English tends to affect your Spanish pronunciation. Okay, let's practice with some syllables. Ba, be, bi, bo, bu. Repeat after me. Fa, fe, fi, fo, fu. Da, de, di, do, du. Ra, re, ri, ro, ru. Ña, ñe, ñi, ño, ñu. Ha, he, he, ho, hu. Now, here's an opportunity for you to practice and record your own speech and then listen to see if you are pronouncing your 5 vowel sounds correctly in Spanish. These are some sentences that make you use vowels in a variety of contexts, which is helpful. So try to record yourself and listen back and see how you're doing with your vowel sounds. I'll record each of them here in the video too if you want to come back and check later. Amalia y Ana hablan con Amanda. Pepe es enemigo de Ernesto. Ignacio me invitó a invertir con Imelda. Octavio observa las operaciones de la oficina. Humberto vuela a Uruguay urgentemente. El artículo fue popular en la universidad. La oficina le dio la oportunidad.